Alright, we have about 10 minutes to my match. This is the first week of the VGCerii Draft League. This week, we, the Wedgehurst Walking Wakes, are playing against the Halifax Masquerainmen. I will quickly go over my draft and also their draft. So, my draft started with Mega Gengar, and then I picked Dragonite as a Pokemon to pair with it because I wanted something that's really offensive and pairs well with the trapping effect from Mega Gengar. I think Mega Gengar is super flexible. It's going to be difficult to build with, but I think it's very strong and it's a good draft mon. So being able to build around that and Dragonite as my primary damage dealing options feels really strong. And I added a Alolan Ninetales as my third Pokemon choice, as my third Pokemon needed to be something that supports both Dragonite and Mega Gengar very well. Alolan Ninetales is a Fairy and Ice type, so that means that it covers for things like Garchomp really well with Mega Gengar. I think that'll come up later on in the season. And it also presents a bunch of opportunities for supporting move pool options, such as Encore and Disable, as well as Setting Weather, which will probably come up in today's game. We've got Mega Skarmory. Mega Skarmory is my backup Mega. It's probably not going to do a whole lot in the early season here. I think it has some really negative matchups into my first week in general, but I'm going to give it a shot. I will go over the paste in just a moment. We've got Armarouge. Armarouge is a budget fire type, but I also wanted to have a psychic type and something that can click Wide Guard and have some other control options like Ally Switch and also access to Trick and Disable itself. Pikachu. I picked Pikachu because it's really inexpensive. Light Ball is a really strong item when we don't have a lot of items. And it has a lot of supporting move pool options as well. Things like Encore and Fake Out that wouldn't be available from my other things. For Quaquaval, I was looking at budget water types, and I wanted to cover a fighting type as well. I think it's a fairly questionable choice. I'm not super excited about it, but it gets the job done. Tauros is kind of just here along for the ride. I needed to fit in a 2-point Pokemon to make space because I wanted to draft Whimsicott. Scovillain is here to cover as a redirector because redirectors are very, very uncommon in this format. There are only 4 or 5 of them that are really, truly playable. And I think having a redirector, even if it's a cheap one and a bad one, is somewhat important for the future. And then we have Whimsicott. Whimsicott is probably the best partner for Mega Gengar on this team besides Alolan Ninetales. And I think it gives me a lot of options as potentially the strongest speed control in the format. It has access to both Trick Room and Tailwind. I don't know if Trick Room will ever come up with Whimsicott this season, but if it does, then that's cool. It also has a bunch of options like Encore and Tickle and Fake Tears, among other things. Cotton Spore. A lot of moves that are really tricky to deal with and a lot of things that force my opponents to plan around them. My opponent's draft is really scary this week. They have Firewater Grass Core with Palafin, Mega Venusaur, and Mega Charizard Y. And I think that these 3 Pokemon are some of the scariest things that I really need to answer, as well as Mamoswine. So I was really concerned about these top 4 Pokemon going into this week. Meowstic, I think there's a reasonable chance that Meowstic isn't going to come this week, just because Meowstic, as a Fake Out user, doesn't really like being stuck in front of Mega Gengar, but also there's just not really a reason to run things that aren't super offensive this week, I think. My opponent definitely will want to do a lot of damage as fast as possible and take critical KOs. Zoroark is really scary. I gotta keep an eye out for Zoroark. I don't want to end up doing no damage because it blocks a Psychic type move. And then Noivern is a Pokemon I have to deal with very early in the game. I don't think Jolteon is going to be super high impact this week. but if it does show up, I think it could be strong. Hopefully my plans into that will also work out. Arbok is probably not coming this week. I have too many special attackers, and I think there are just not enough things that are high value for Arbok to hit. Moving into my pace for this week, because I only have so much time, we are starting with Mega Gengar. Gengar is carrying Dazzling Gleam, and that is to help me deal with the Noivern more effectively, and also have decent spread damage to break Sashes, because I think Shadow Ball is going to be enough for most things. I'm running Disable to combine with Encore on Ninetales, as well as the Trick Choice Scarf on Armarouge to just prevent options from working out for my opponent. And I made it bulky enough that it can take a Weather Ball from Charizard most of the time, and it can always take it can always take a Wave Crash under screens. It can always take two Weather Balls in snow from Charizard, and it takes 2 Heat Waves behind screens as well. I don't remember my exact calcs. I was in a little bit of a hurry on this one. For Skarmory, I just went max attack, max speed. I'm going to rely on screens for making this thing a little bulkier if I need it, but the main point of this thing is that it's just something that clicks fast Rock Slide. So if I really need to have an answer to Charizard, it's going to be hopefully strong enough to deal with that. Speaking of Charizard counters, I am bringing Silk Scarf Dragonite this week. It has Rock Tomb, just as something that it can click into Charizard and do a lot of damage. It's backup Tailwind for Whimsicott, so that I have 2 forms of speed control. And Extreme Speed should just do like 40% to most things on my opponent's team. Whimsicott is here because Whimsicott needs to be here to make things playable, I think. It gives me options into things like Noivern that outspeed me, and also it gives me an option into Meowstic if Meowstic does come. And Tickle is a fantastic move for dealing with Palafin, because I can outspeed it, I can lower its attack, and I can lower its defense, and I can capitalize on that with Dragonite and Skarmory to make it a lot harder to play with Palafin. Armarouge is here with Trick Choice Scarf, Flash Fire to prevent Heat Waves and Weather Balls from Charizard from KOing it. And then I just went to 23 speed, because with Choice Scarf that allows me to outspeed Noivern. And I went with max special attack so I can do the most damage possible. And I have Weather Ball to combine with Snow Warning so that I can have a way to kind of deal with Noivern in an early game if it catches me in a bad position. And I also have Destiny Bond, so I can maybe take a cheeky KO here and there. But I expect that the moves that I'm probably going to be spamming are Heat Wave and Weather Ball. Sometimes I might do Trick. I don't know if there's anything that's going to be a really good Trick target here, but if I can Trick and disable something, that's fantastic, and it makes me play against only one Pokemon at a time, which I think is really good. Ninetales also has Encore, like I mentioned before, to deal with anything that I would want to Encore and disable. And I have Fake Tears to pair with Gengar. My Gengar is slower than my Ninetales by 1 point to make sure that Fake Tears goes first. And I have Aurora Veil to make sure that Aurora Veil can reduce the damage done to my team. So hopefully, hopefully this will work out. I am nervous about this because I think this is one of the scariest teams to face in Week 1. But we'll see how it goes. We should be jumping into the battle shortly. I'm just going to message my opponent. Alright, and we are getting our challenge. Alright. I'll accept. And we'll deny open team sheets just to make sure that that is okay. We are playing close sheet for this because it is draft. So my opponent brings Venusaur. They did bring Meowstic. They did not bring Jolteon. So I'm very excited to not see Jolteon because it means that Skarmory looks really strong as long as I can deal with Charizard. Gardevoir is going to be a potential problem. I'm expecting that there's going to be either a Choice Scarf on Gardevoir or a Choice Scarf on Zoroark. Or potentially a Choice Scarf on Mamoswine. One of these things is probably going to be Scarfed, one is going to be Sash. And the big question of the day is which one is going to be which. So, getting into this, I think the best thing that I can do in game 1 is to play it a little straight, and we're just going to lead Gengar and Armarouge. Armarouge isn't super helpful. Let's lead Gengar and Whimsicott. Play it as straightforward as possible and have just a strong plan. We'll bring Dragonite in the back, and we will bring Ninetales this game. I think that presents enough opportunities. I could bring Armarouge to deal with the Mamoswine. I don't hate that. I'm going to bring Ninetales. I think Ninetales is good enough for this first game. Okay, we get the Venusaur lead. Okay, this turn, the best thing that I can do is to just Mega and Protect, because I don't want to take damage. I don't care if Whimsicott goes down here, I don't think. Tickle is helpful. I'm expecting that there's going to be some kind of Protect play, or they're just going to click damage into Whimsicott. Either is fine. So we're going to click Tailwind. So we're going to Mega Evolve Gengar. We're going to Tailwind. My opponent goes for Sludge Bomb right away. And goes for Heat Wave. So I'm going to switch in Ninetales here. And now the opportunity that this gives me is that my opponent is now stuck on the field with Gengar, or with my Gengar and Ninetales out, with Venusaur and Charizard. So this turn, what I really want to do is I want to disable Sludge Bomb and click Aurora Veil. I kind of want to just Encore into Venu as well. Let's just disable and Encore the Venusaur. And now this turn we can do the same thing to Charizard potentially. But I think the better play is for me to... I'm expecting a Protect out of Charizard potentially, but Encore and Disable into Protect would be really scary as well. So I'm just going to Encore and Disable into Charizard as well. And now this turn, I want to deal with Charizard as best as possible, so we're just going to click Fake Tears and Shadow Ball. Charizard is going to go down to that. So we've removed my opponent's Mega now. The Encore has ended. But I'm in a great spot here. I'm expecting that the way that they are playing this, that this Mamoswine is probably going to be Choice Scarfed. I kind of want to just protect my Gengar this turn and click Blizzard. Yeah. So we see the Earthquake come out. It does KO Ninetales. Based on how they played that, I am definitely guessing that is a Scarf Mamoswine. I want to deal with this Venusaur as fast as possible. Okay, it is not Scarf Mamoswine, and it is a really scary situation now. I lost this game because I expected that Mamoswine was going to be Scarfed. So going into the next game, I think I need to have a better plan for Mamoswine in the late game. My early game plan against Charizard worked out really well. I think I was correct in what I did in the beginning of the game, but I really needed to play better into Mamoswine. I also should have answered the Venusaur. Now that I know that Mamoswine has Protect, I think it's going to be really important. We're gonna click Protect in game plan for game 2. Yeah. Alright. So, now for game 2, I definitely expect that it's going to be a different lead this time. I don't think that it's going to end up being exactly the same. Charizard is really bulky. Like, it's incredibly bulky on this team. This is tricky, right? I think I want to lead Gengar and Whimsicott again. I want to do a similar plan to last time, because I might want to lead Dragonite. I think I'd lead Dragonite this time instead of Whimsicott. And I bring Ninetales in the back still. And I think I want Armarouge, just so I have something that deals with Mamoswine. Okay, this is definitely Choice Scarf Gardevoir. I'm expecting that is going to be a fake out into Dragonite. Let's just immediately protect both and see what Gardevoir is going to go to. It is Dark Pulse. That's a Zoroark. So knowing that this is Zoroark, and it's scarfed into Dark Pulse, I think the best thing for me to do is to go to Ninetales here, preserve my Gengar, and get a Tailwind up. So this is interesting, because now Prankster is blocked by the Meowstic, right? So let's go for Blizzard. And let's go for... Let's go for Rock Tomb. We do eat the Akaberry. The Sunny Day is interesting. I think this turn I'm okay to pivot into Arma and click Rock Tomb into the Meowstic. The Meowstic isn't super important, actually, but I don't want to get hit with the Expanding Force from it. Let's just go for Rock Tomb and Blizzard. We can hit both, and hopefully that'll do enough. We do get hit with the Expanding Force. And it is Guard. Guard traces multi-scale, which is not amazing. Can I afford to click one more Blizzard and Sun? That's the question. I don't think I particularly want to. Let's protect my Dragonite this turn and switch out to Arma. It is double Expanding Force. I'm gonna click the Rock Tomb into Guard. Okay. We do confirm that it is Scarf Gardevoir. And I can pick up Mamoswine here. As long as I hit the Heat Wave, we are in really good shape. And now they can't fake out both, correct? But what they can do is they can click Ice Shard into one of these. So I need Armarouge for sure. And we'll preserve Dragonite by clicking Protect on Dragonite. And now what this allows me to do is this allows me to get my Armarouge back in. I don't have to reveal anything other than Heat Wave this game. I can just go for Extreme Speed into Mamoswine. So we do go to game 3. And the interesting part there was that my opponent did not bring either of their Mega Pokemon. Armarouge is very effective against their team, as long as I can get it positioned well. And I want to lead something similar this game. Let's go with Gengar and Dragonite again. And we'll bring Armarouge and Ninetales. I think leaving Whimsicott behind was the correct decision last time. Okay, and they do lead Mamoswine and Charizard. So this turn we are going to protect. I want to protect both quite a lot, but I'm also willing to just click the Rock Tomb into Charizard. We do get the Ice Shard off in Dragonite. And we do get the -1 onto Gardevoir. I don't particularly want to eat an Earthquake this turn. I think I'm going to click Shadow Ball and just deal with eating the Earthquake. And we can E-Speed on the Mamoswine. They missed the high horsepower. That is a big deal for me. I was worried about the Dragonite getting KO'd here. But I think this puts them in a really tricky spot. Seeing the Ice Shard turn 1 to confirm that it was not in fact Zoroark was a really big deal. We do see the Charizard. It is a question of whether this is actually Charizard. I think this turn, my best play is to protect both and see what their plan is. Okay, they do protect. And they go for Heat Wave. And now their Charizard is trapped on the field with me. And what this allows me to do is this allows me to just click Shadow Ball and go to Ninetales. And we do catch the Ice Shard and take out the Mamoswine. So this is a great position for me now. Because now we are against a Venusaur that is really locked down. We have Armarouge in the back. Armarouge can deal with the Venusaur with either Weather Ball or Heat Wave. I think the most important thing that I do this turn is to get Charizard in range. So we do go for Blizzard. No freezes. That's fine. And now Charizard should always be in extreme speed range. So this allows me to just click damage. We do see the Weather Ball from Venusaur, which is crazy tech. Unfortunately for my opponent, this is still a great spot for me. Charizard is in range of another Shadow Ball, and Venusaur should be in range of a Weather Ball. And that's week 1. Good games to my opponent. I think they played really well. I think their team was also really cool. I really like to see the Weather Ball and Venusaur. That was a cool tech. And I was so scared going into this week. I think that was... It was really fun to prep for this team. And I am very excited to keep playing this team in the future. I think my draft is really strong, and I think it's just going to be fun prepping with this team every week. Thank you everyone for watching. I will be back next week with more VGC draft.